Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am your host, June Archer. This is the Winner Circle, and I am honored to interview both Shakina and Wilder Yari, both making their way and making magic happen on Quantum Leap. Shakina, for you, congratulations on your most recent nomination and the GLAAD Award nomination. How excited are you to start off 2024?
It is a great start to the year. It was a great end to the year to get to make this episode with Wilder, and it was a great beginning of the year to continue being recognized for Let Them Play, the last episode I wrote for Quantum Leap. So I'm just happy to be here.
With that first episode, were there some butterflies? What were you feeling exactly?
You know, I had a mentor once tell me that at every great moment in your life, you have to expose the fear. You have to face the fear that you're going to be exposed as a fraud, and it's like that imposter syndrome that comes up when you get those life changing opportunities, and you either say yes and do it anyway, or you back down. And there's no way I was going to back down. So, the first challenge was to write that episode, and then the second challenge became directing that episode, and it was just like, you have those moments in your life when you're like, oh, I'm showing up for exactly what I trained for. Let's do it. And once more, like, that's how I felt with this episode. It was a totally different situation and circumstances, really compressed timeline, and we just had to jump in, and I had to run with it, and it was great.
Now, I want to ask you this. We had to go through the writer strike and the actor strike, and we know that it was for good reason. We had to catch up with the times. Why is it important now more than ever, Shakina, that we hear stories from a diverse population of people who have so many amazing things to say and to share?
Well, I think the strike showed us that it reminded us maybe that in times of hardship, there are those who are suffering more, and there are those who are left out even farther on the margins and the outskirts. And it sort of exposed the inequalities that continue to plague our society, not only in the corporate level, but also in our society, like social structures and economic structures. And so much of that has to do with giving agency to the people who have been deprived of that agency. And that's economic power, but that's also storytelling. And those two things are inextricable, as the strike showed us. So I think moving more of us from the margins to the center in our storytelling will shift the balance of representation, will shift the balance of inclusion, will shift the balance of economic power and access. So, yeah, that's what I'm here to do.
I love it. Wilder, for you, wow. You you are embarking on what is going to be, I believe, an amazing career, but how inspired are you to be on Quantum Leap, which has such great legacy and now is embracing new stories, diverse stories, as Shakina said, but also young artists and creatives such as yourself?
That is so kind, Jude. Thank you so much. Well, it's an honor, of course. And I also truly love the direction that Quantum Leap has taken as a sequel to the original. There was always this opportunity, but to get to uncover that in new ways has been a real joy to be a part of. Yeah, I'm like, this is such a great opportunity to not even reimagine, but continue to explore the possibilities with, oh, I'm so sorry. Continue to explore the possibilities with this kind of storytelling. And I love that the Quantum Leap team has taken every advantage or taken every opportunity to do that.
Now, let's talk about taking advantage.
Let's
What
do
have
it.
you taken advantage of just being on set and learning from those who came before you, who are willing to give you some gems, nuggets, keys to success?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, I learned a lot from not only Shakina, but also Jude Wang, our director, and Raymond Lee, the lead of the show. They showed me a lot about what leadership could look like, just because I'm often put in a position where, as a non-binary actor on set, I have to do a lot of educating or sort of um, finesse certain situations, pick my battles, etc. But I felt really taken care of by all three of these people. Ray could very easily have sat out so many scenes. He worked so much and worked so hard, but he was a really giving scene partner. Every single take, every single time was there with guest stars, with co-stars, with everybody. And Jude was amazing at collaborating. I watched her say yes more often than she said no. There's a stereotype of directors as being sort of tyrannical, but she was incredibly collaborative. So when she did take a hard line, everyone was like, absolutely, yeah, totally. And Shakina set this incredible culture just from the jump. I didn't think that I had to worry about anything as I don't know what the word is, as a maybe like a slightly unusual actor, for lack of a better term, maybe a little someone that the cast and crew is necessarily used to working with, but they are because of Mason Alexander Park. However, she just like led by example with so much grace immediately. And yeah, I hope to bring that to future sets as well.
And you will. I'm looking forward to that. Shakina, for you, you are an advocate for the transgender community, non-binary community. What are you most proud of as you are now being recognized for your work?
I'm so proud that there's like a whole generation of trans kids who don't know who the hell I am. Like, that's amazing because I literally help build the world that they inhabit. And I'm like so excited that it's like that's what it's about. I remember being young and queer and reckless and having no respect for my elders and not knowing where I came from in queer history, and feeling like the world was an oyster and I with queer sword would open and was just like ready to go my own. And now I'm like, oh, I'm like I'm part of a link in a chain, and I can feel it, and I have relationships with people on both sides of that history, and it's just, yeah, it feels really great to know that like I'm achieving my life's goal of participating in our liberation.
Now, let's expound upon that building. What, as you build, what does that look like for 2024 and beyond for you?
Well, since we're manifesting, I think, I think uh, I I have so many projects that I want to develop as a writer or an actor, and I have so many beloved collaborators that I want to like keep creating with. So to me, it looks like more and more doors opening, more and more opportunities to get movies and TV shows produced, and Broadway shows produced. Why not? That that feature me, Wilder, our community, our stories, and I hope to be, continue to be a creative leader in that collective movement.
Now, we had Let Them Play, and now we're talking about the next episode that's getting ready to hit. What do you want our audience to take away from this next episode? I'll start with you first, Wilder.
Yeah, wow. What I would love our community to take away from this episode of Quantum Leap is that we've always been here, that queer people have always been here, trans people have always been here. When researching this role, was kind of struggling with some of my own disbelief about how comfortable this person would be in the 50s to just like have short hair, wear men's clothing, not apologize, like even the body language. And so I did my own research and I found all of this evidence. And it's not, they're not necessarily celebrated, they're not heroes, but there's photographic evidence, there's journals, there's firsthand accounts of these people that were just living their lives with absolutely zero qualms about it. I mean, sure, maybe they're butting up against a larger dominant culture, but they were themselves and didn't feel the need to apologize for it. So I hope that's something that people take away from this as well. It's queer people, trans people are not a new phenomenon or not invented by like, I don't know, yeah, the media in the 2000s.
And
you, Shakina, how about
yeah,
you? What take away?
I really hope. I was just thinking about how I know that my brother and my sister-in-law are going to watch this episode with their kids who were the same age that I was when the original Quantum Leap was on, and I I hope that this episode gives young people and their families the comfortability, the open door to have conversations about gender identity that maybe have been like beneath the surface and they've not found a way to open up that door yet. And I know that TV has the ability to do that. We get inside people's living rooms and we hang out with them for an hour. And this is an opportunity, you know, for all of the young people who might be contemplating coming out or you know, expressing a desire about how they wish to be seen or be named. You know, and I hope that they can feel encouraged and supported to do that, and that their parents or their family members can have a model for how to listen and how to respond and receive and accept that in an affirming way.
Not one to encourage or discourage anyone for anything. And this is for both of you. As we are in a place where they are trying to take Black history out of school, how important is it, not just for Black history, but for exactly what you just talked about, talking about transgender, non-binary, Black history, American history, Irish history? Why is it important now more than ever to learn about each other's cultures, and what makes us who we are as human beings first? Wilder.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is right there in the question. It's that we recognize each other's humanity by learning about each other. And also, I think by digging into the history, we realize the way that a lot of these movements have been interconnected throughout time. A lot of people definitely have felt my mother and half my family is Iranian, and there's a strong sense of needing to choose sometimes between different communities that you're a part of. And that's definitely come up in queer communities as well, where it's like there's infighting between like trans people and queer people about like representation or whose story, whose issues are more important. But the truth is, like, we're all in the same boat. We have a long history of being not only interconnected but intersectional. Like, you can be multiple things at once. So yeah, it's essential that we tell these stories to continue to take care of each other and get closer to each other as opposed to farther away.
You want to chime in, Shakina?
Yeah, I'll just say that, you know, our histories tell us who we are and where we've come from. They also teach us how to move forward in ways that don't repeat the same cycles, you know. And I think that we all want to evolve. We all want to push society forward, especially those of us who are coming from the margins or coming from an experience of oppression. We want to leave the world better than the world that we were given. And so, you know, in order to build a future that is more conscious and more inclusive, we have to look back first and understand where we've all come from and the different experiences that shaped the society we find ourselves in, so that we can attend to the needs of others as we build for the future.
We each eat each other's foods, but need to learn a lot more about each other's culture. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wilder, Yari, Shakina. Please check out the latest episode on NBC. Take the leap. Watch Quantum Leap. I am your host, June Archer. This is the Winner Circle. Love to you both. Keep doing what you're doing and keep making your magic happen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.
Thanks, June.
Thanks, June.